Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio on the phone there. Wow, I'll get there eventually, Dr. Weidner. My guest on the Zoom today is Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools. Good to see you, Dr. Weidner. How are you this morning?
I'm great, Seth. Thanks so much for having me.
Always good to have you on the program. We appreciate making time for us as always, particularly as we get to the end of the school year, Dr. Weidner. There's so much going on. What's your calendar look like? It felt like everybody and their brother did prom last weekend. We've got end of school stuff coming up. What are some of the threshold dates in your district here in the next several weeks?
Yeah, it is definitely packed. We only have 12 days with our students left. So we are done on May 15th and the teachers are done on the 18th. So we are trying to pack in as much learning and as much fun as possible in these last 12 days. And in the last month, we've done a lot of really cool stuff. I'm really impressed by what our teachers put together to make the end of the school year still educational, but also really interactive and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just to highlight a few of the things that are going on, our fifth graders made that trip to the Challenger Learning Center again. They go to Bloomington each year for that and do a space shuttle simulation, which with the Artemis launch recently is great timing. Our PTO is really awesome. They brought in the Star Lab for the elementary students also. So it's kind of an inflatable planetarium that the kids got to go sit in the auditorium and look at the stars. So that was really neat. We had our farm day on the 17th. So the high school kids in the ag program hosted the elementary kids out at the fairgrounds. That's also always a special one. This Friday is a huge day for us. We've got our fourth and fifth graders are going over to the Civic Center in Decatur for the Magic of Science event with Jason Latimer. Most of the schools in the Macon Piatt area are going to that. The ROE has coordinated that. It's going to be a really cool event, and they have a free event for families on Saturday with that as well. But we also have our junior high kids are going to a Cubs game tomorrow. That's their special trip. So they'll go up tomorrow and see the Cubs play the Diamondbacks. The high school students will stay here for Aloha Day where they play a lot of games and do fun activities. And then we do have our prom this weekend. Next weekend, we get into National Honor Society, Honors Night with all the scholarships, our athletic banquet. We've got one more concert. It's just, there are multiple things every night. And trips and activities every day. So the end of the school year is a lot of fun.
It's always a race to the finish, isn't it? You know, just trying to get everything in. And of course, you're trying to take advantage of the nice weather for the field trips and the outdoor activities and all those things. Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, our guest on the Zoom here for this morning. Did you say last day of school there, Dr. Weidner, for Cerro Gordo?
Yes. Friday, May 15th, coming right up.
Man, you guys get it done early. You really do.
Yeah.
Good for you all. That's great. Seniors or like all students?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yep.
Everybody. Mm-hmm. Golly, I think we're going to June this year in Clinton. So.
Really? Yeah.
Man, envious of you all. Really on.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I'm envious. I don't get a summer. What am I talking about?
We do start pretty early in August, and we take fewer breaks throughout the year. So everybody goes to school the same number of days.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, I'll tell you what, Dr. Weidner, I know one thing, and if I'm not mistaken, I think you might have mentioned this to me a visit or two ago, but a nonprofit forming in Piatt County, yourself and several female leaders in Piatt County starting up a nonprofit. Tell me about this. What's going on here?
Yes, I would love to talk about this. This is Piatt County Women's Giving Circle. And it is kind of jump-started by the Heart of Illinois Community Foundation. And it is based on similar groups in Macon and Moultrie County. And the Piatt County version is called Rooted and Rising, and it's rooted in generosity and rising in impact. So essentially, it's a group of women in Piatt County who are agreeing to pool their resources to help out the communities in our county. All you have to do to be a member is make a donation. And then once we know our membership and our amount of money that we've raised through those donations, Then we open up grants for local nonprofits. That could be schools, that could be civic organizations, it could be a food pantry, any variety of things within Piatt County. And then we have a social event where the members get to vote on the grants for those nonprofits. So the donation amount is also based on your age. And one of the things that I think is really cool about this specific group is that we've opened it up all the way down to 16-year-olds. So if you're 16 to 25, you pay $50 a year. 26 to 40, you pay $250 a year, and so on up to you could do a lifetime for $5,000. So there are different levels based on your age. You could pay in 2 installments, and it's a way to be able to give back without necessarily having to give a lot of time. You can go to the social events and vote, or you don't have to. So it is something that I'm really excited about. I'm excited to recruit people to join this, to teach my own daughters and my students about volunteerism and helping your community and philanthropy. We do have a kickoff event for it. It's Friday, May 8th, and it's at KB Community Cafe in Monticello. It's in conjunction with the Whites of Spring event there. And it's just a chance for women who are interested in joining to come, and they can either sign up or they can just talk to people who are in the founding members or the steering committee and learn more about it. So
Sure.
I will be there that night. I'm very excited to get started, and I hope that we can get a lot of people in Piatt County and specifically Cerro Gordo to get involved.
Give me the backstory on this. How did this all come together?
So the Heart of Illinois Community Foundation does amazing things throughout Macon and Piatt counties. So they are a charity organization that basically manages donations and grants. Last year, they gave a grant to our school district for a kiln and also the installation of the kiln. So about $15,000 to get our art students able to do ceramics and pottery. But they do literally millions of dollars of charity work, and they've established this group in Macon County and Moultrie County. So they had the blueprint for us. They're heavily involved in this. And it was just kind of like, here's a great idea. How does it look in Piatt County? So there's a group of women who got together to form the steering committee, and that's where the bulk of the work happens. It's ideally for women to join this. They don't have to do a lot. They just make that donation, and then they get to vote in ways that they think would help communities in Piatt County.
So does the money funnel through that foundation, or does it come to you all and then you obviously distribute it? How does that work?
Great question. Yes, Heart of Illinois Community Foundation does handle the money. They've also made a donation that will allow us to give a grant on our very first night. So May 8th, we'll be able to give a grant that night to kind of kick things off.
Are you at liberty to tell us about that grant?
Not yet. It's a surprise, but it will be announced May 8th at 7 p.m. at KB Cafe.
So who are some of the other women leaders in Piatt County that are stepping up with you in this effort?
Sure. Mary Boat, Chelsea Thomas, Connie Geyer, Andy Owens, Heidi Apperson, Kristen Wright, and Natalie Beck are the members of the steering committee. There's also a larger group of founding members. I can't recite them off the top of my head, but we had several meetings in the fall and spring leading up to kind of going live next Friday.
How do you envision this playing out? Again, Dr. Emily Weidner, superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, our guest on the Zoom here for this morning. How do you envision this playing out? Is it like a quarterly grant cycle? Is it just come to us as you need things? And again, how do you envision this impacting the community? Where do you envision this impacting the community?
Well, I think right now we're still trying to figure out how often we'll do events. The plan is to close the membership at the end of June 30th. So that way we know how much money we've raised, and then we can open up a grant cycle in the fall and then have some kind of social event in the fall, probably in October, to give out those first rounds of grants. And then a lot of how often we do things will determine how many members we get, how much money we're raising, but we'll also be putting some of that money to the side to let it grow so we can kind of increase that impact. So part of what we raise will be immediately dispersed, part of it will be allowed to grow. And then, it just depends on how many members we get and how much money we raise, what we can do.
Sure.
But I think working with the Heart of Illinois Community Foundation, I've really discovered some of the nonprofit groups in Piatt County and all the things they do. And there is a need for these groups to have help. So I hope that we become a source of, a resource that they can rely on.
Totally. Yeah. Very good. That's really cool. That's really neat.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
mentioned membership is open until, did you say the end of June? I heard June in there.
Yes.
End of
June 30th.
Okay. How does one become a member? And again, the structure for dues and those sorts of things. Remind us of that, Dr. Weidner, and how they get information.
That's a great question. They get on the Heart of Illinois Community Foundation website, and you can see Giving Circles as an option on their main page and Rooted and Rising as an option there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually join right now. You can sign up and make your donation. I think one of the really cool features is that you can make a donation in honor of someone or in memory of someone. Mm-hmm. My donation was in honor of my husband's grandmother, Pete Foster. So I think that's a really neat thing. And also, you could donate in honor of someone else joining. So if you wanted to give that to your wife or your mother for Mother's Day, or if a business wanted to sponsor one of their female employees to join, I think that would be a great thing too.
Sure. Very good. Very good. Anything else on that, Dr. Weidner, we did not get to that you want to put out there for us?
I encourage everybody to come out to KB on the 8th. I think it's a great opportunity for women of all ages. I'm hoping to have 3 generations of my family there representing, and I'm excited to teach the younger generation about, helping out in your community and being a volunteer and doing the right thing.
Sure. Very good. Very good. Well, on that note, Dr. Weidner, let's take a break, come back with some more talk some more all things Cerro Gordo Schools. Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, my guest on the Zoom here for this morning. More to come with her on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Spring is in the air, so it's time to choose your new Silverado. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. We have a good selection of new Silverados with springtime savings and special finance rates. Choose from regular cabs, double cabs, or crew cabs in gas or diesel. We're also allowing extra money for your trade on all new Silverados this month. Silverado, together let's drive. See all our inventory at BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. Ugh, it's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Do you love the DeWitt County community? Are you the person who knows everyone in town and has a heart for the people who live here? Heart Media is looking for another sales account manager to join our team. We're hunting for a fun, outgoing person who wants to be the face of our media products. Help local businesses share their stories through radio and digital media. If you've got a drive to succeed and a passion for people, submit your resume. Connect at heartmg.com. Work where your ideas actually matter. Connect at heartmg.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, is my guest on the Zoom here for this morning. Dr. Weidner, what else has kept you and your staff, your Board of Education? What's been hopping over there in Cerro Gordo Schools lately?
Well, one huge thing that's coming up next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. I definitely want to highlight that. It is May 4th through 8th, and we really use the week to celebrate not only our teachers, but all of our staff. We have special lunches and treats, food trucks. The board is bringing in Mexican food for Cinco de Mayo on Tuesday. We just try to do a lot of things to really show the teachers that we appreciate them and show our staff that we're thankful for the work that they do. I just have to highlight that teaching is a really rewarding and important job, but it's also a really challenging one. And the people who go into this profession have the biggest hearts and just kind of an innate desire to help other people. And at this time of year, doing all these special things, everybody's just kind of worn down. That goes for teachers and staff and parents too, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would encourage anybody listening to next week or even today, take the time to write a quick email or send a note, or better yet, have your kid send a note, just telling, a teacher or a staff member what you like about the class or what they do for the child. Those are the things that educators really appreciate the most and what means the most to them. Of course, teachers like getting gifts and things of that nature, but those little thank yous really mean the world to our staff. So that would be a huge, huge boost at this point in the year. And something that is really appreciated and really deserved.
Comes at a good time, like you said.
Yep.
You're coming up on the time of year when there's pretty significant burnout and everybody sees the finish line and it can't get here fast enough, but it'll be here before we know it, that sort of thing. So, for sure. And I wonder, Dr. Weidner, as you talk about Teacher Appreciation Week, what kind of supports are out there for teachers through the course of a school year, when in those January, February, March months when the grind is real and, there's not many days off and those sorts of things. What kind of supports are out there for teachers at those times?
Absolutely. I think that February time of year is really tough. May is hectic, but February and those dark days with all the snow and cold weather can be really challenging. So I think oftentimes we try to do special events within the school, and a lot of times that really is teacher-led. So having special activities like right before Christmas break, they do games and assemblies and things like that. So little activities like that can really give people a boost. Just here recently, we did at the junior high school, we finished up state testing, which can be pretty stressful. So Mr. Willard, our principal, brought in the Kona ice truck. The junior high kids, the teachers coordinated a dodgeball tournament. Mm-hmm. So they spent the afternoon getting a Kona ice and then playing dodgeball. Mm-hmm. Things like Aloha Day tomorrow, where the staff and students play fun games together. Those are the days where you walk out thinking like, I love my job. This is so fun. And that's the unique part about working in a school that I've enjoyed so much over the last 26 years, is you get that camaraderie with your colleagues and also with the kids, and you get to do fun, silly things, kind of break up all the hard work and stress as well.
Sure. Very good. Well, Teacher Appreciation Week next week, and like you said, Dr. Weidner, Cerro Gordo doing several things to recognize and show appreciation to their teachers. On that note, how is staffing? How are you looking for next year? How are things going there in Farmer City, in Cerro Gordo, RE, your staffing and such?
We are in good shape in terms of staffing. There's definitely a teacher shortage still going on, but we're seeing an increase in the number of applicants, especially at the elementary level. It's still a little bit harder at the upper grade level. It's specialized teachers, and special education numbers are still low in terms of teachers. But as of our last board meeting, we were fully staffed for next year. We've still got a couple of coaches that we're looking to hire, but we are in great shape going into next school year.
There you go. Do you feel like you're starting to get more quality candidates and those sorts of things?
Absolutely. I think there is definitely definitely a little bit of a turnaround. We're still not quite there yet, and we definitely still have an issue with a shortage of substitute teachers. When you have a teacher shortage, it used to be that teachers who maybe didn't get hired would sub for a year and then kind of get their foot in the door and then get hired. There's really not that pool of teachers who aren't getting hired anymore. So that can still be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. I had your colleague, Dr. Taylor, up at Hayworth on before you came on this morning, and I asked her this question. I'd be interested in your response. The last 3, 4, or 5 years, we've done a lot to recruit teachers, to encourage young people to get into the teaching profession. Do you feel like those efforts are paying off, or do we need to reevaluate what we're doing as it relates to that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've been working hard to recruit teachers, and at the state level, sometimes things that happen at the state level can impact that as well. So there tends to be a tendency to make it more difficult to become a teacher, to make more certifications required and things like that. So we've been able to kind of advocate for peeling back some of those layers, and making that process for getting teachers certified a little faster. So people who have, already have a bachelor's degree maybe could have a faster path to getting certified and helping with this shortage. So there have been steps in the right direction. But one of the challenges still, I think, is that tier 2 teachers who are started after 2010 and have a later retirement age. That is definitely an issue that I think the state still needs to address, and is still a hot topic.
Sure.
Because a lot of people don't want to teach necessarily till they're 67 years old.
Sure.
It's quite the jump.
Very good. Well, on that note, Dr. Weidner, always good to talk with you. Appreciate your time as always. Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, our guest on the Zoom Network News, comes your way now on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.